MorningLine. Our guest with us this morning is Metro Vice Mayor Jim Shulman. We can take your phone calls, 737-7587. We have a few people there waiting on hold. But we're talking, first off, the agenda with him today, and there's another council meeting tonight, is the stadium deal. And that's been looked at. As you said when we went to break, there's already been a group of council members that were already researching and getting into this. And really, so the primary concern from the council's point of view is making sure that the mayor's promise that this is not a burden to the taxpayers as it's built moving forward is accurate, and that there aren't some unforeseen things that could develop once we're into it and can't back out, where we say, well, yeah, we were wrong, and now we're going to have to kick in.
Well, I think you learn things. So you go back to the original deal. A stadium obviously was a lot, it was expensive, but it was a lot cheaper than we're talking about right now. And the idea focused on the fact that our job, the city's job, was to keep that stadium up in relatively first-class condition, or whatever. That we owe the Titans, according to them, and obviously you could fight over it, but about $30 million. This report that's coming out is saying, okay, if we just kept everything the same way, what would it cost the city? And the report apparently says it's going to cost us, over $1 billion long term to keep that thing up. I'm sort of like with lots of people, it's like when you build these things, why don't you build them to last forever? You've got the Astrodome, you've got the Superdome, you've got these things that are still sitting there. I think the Astrodome is still there. I know the Superdome is there.
Yeah, Superdome survived the hurricane.
Yeah, survived the hurricane. Yeah. So why aren't these things built to last? That's probably a very, very good question. And so then you worry about, okay, well, what is the city's obligations? What are we on the hook for? In the last situation, we were on the hook for this maintenance, and that's what we're looking at to try to figure out, what is it going to cost? We also paid for it, and there's bonds outstanding that are having to be paid back. In this case, you're kind of switching the deal over to the fact that the Titans are responsible for the maintenance, for the upkeep, and for cost overruns and things like that. All the bonds would be paid off. The maintenance fees that we owe them now will be taken care of. We're not having to do that.
And the extra element to this package, and we'll get to a call here in a moment, is that it addresses the issue of this whole new East Bank development by moving the stadium back a ways, and then the stadium where it's at right now gets torn down in that area. The development plan they have in place, if it comes to fruition, which I don't know if you and I will still be alive when it is, because it's such an ambitious plan, seems pretty darn spectacular, but it's kind of like this stadium deal was really what had to be addressed before you could even move forward with what that redevelopment will be, and it's all tied together. Yeah,
it's all tied together, and you look at what can you do with that whole East Bank side. Obviously all kinds of different things, and I know there's lots of people interested in how it's developed, affordability of housing, things like that you can tie into that. Somebody asked me the other day, are you excited about this? And it's like, well, it's hard not to be excited about the fact that, if it plays out, you've got a new stadium coming that doesn't obligate the city, takes a lot of obligations off the city, and you open up this whole area of land. It's a lot of acreage of property on the riverfront that we could do something interesting with. But you table that excitement with the fact that we have to do our due diligence. We got to see if there's any things that are sitting there, any gaps, any holes, and that's what our folks are doing. Now, I will tell you, so I was gone last week, and I was keeping up a little bit, but not as much as, I was trying to have a vacation. So go back tonight. We go into session tonight. These things are up, but my guess is they'll just be deferred until we are ready to vote. And what that simply means, Nick, is that the committee, the task force that's looking at this, has to do its work. And then all the council members have to do this work. And they have to fully understand what is the whole aspect of the deal. And are there any things that we have to worry about? And we have to...
And you'll hear from the public, too. As we heard from the mayor's office, there will be more public hearings where the public can sound off. In fact, you can sound off on the show here right now. And we'll go to Raymond. Raymond, good morning. Hi, Raymond.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I am a football fan, NFL fan, college fan, and like yourself, Nick, I don't really have a dog in this fight, but absolutely don't want to see the Titans leave. But I'd like to just share a few things and then ask two questions, if I may. Number one, every year the Titans get media money. So this year, every NFL team got $336 million in TV money before they sold a hot dog, ticket, T-shirt, or jersey. Okay? Well, that means in 6 years, they're going to make $2 billion in profits.
Yep.
Just from TV.
You are right.
So to build this stadium, some of the things that I hear, and I'm not anti-stadium, but some of the reasons I hear for it would be a Super Bowl. And certainly the NFL would give them one Super Bowl. I agree with that. But it's too small for a college football playoff because it's only going to be 60,000 seats. So that's not going to be the capacity they would need. My other thoughts is if Mr. Kroenke built and paid for SoFi Stadium himself, has anyone as part of this due diligence just asked, why would we give any money, or why don't the Titans just build this themselves? Obviously, they've got the money to do it. So without being antagonistic towards the Titans, what is the rationale for why the state would give $500 million, which I know, Vice Mayor Shulman, you're not responsible for, but there is a lot of money that's being put into this for a private entity that will make $2 billion that we know of in profit. No one knows what an NFL team makes. They won't open their books.
Right.
They go to great lengths in litigation to avoid opening their books. And I'm wrapping it up right now. So with that being said, I just don't understand why we would pay anything for a private entity to have a stadium. Thank you.
Hey, listen, Raymond, great points. And here's the thing, and I brought this up with Butch Spiriton. The issue is these NFL owners are billionaires, okay? Now, I don't know how much Amy Adams Strunk has. Some billionaire owners have more than others, all right? We know that the privately funded stadiums, as far as I know in the NFL, and he is correct, Stan Kroenke built the one in Los Angeles where they played the Super Bowl last year. My understanding is the one where the New York Giants and Jets play is also privately paid for and owned, and the one where the Vikings play were paid for privately and owned. And you know, you can say, you know, there's a nice little neighborhood bakery down the road here, okay? Why doesn't the city pay for their structure, and you know, why don't we put tax dollars in to help this private business? Well, we're not going to do that. The bakery, you know, they're a private business. They got to take care of themselves. Why do we do this for the Titans? Why not just have these billionaire owners pay for it themselves?
So I guess the question is, why are we doing any of this at all across the country?
The argument is going to be, well, because the Titans bring so much to the community, it's worth the investment of tax dollars. You could argue, well, that bakery provides baked goods for a community and makes the neighborhood a much nicer place and brings in tax receipts, not as much, but at that level. But I mean, I'm guessing that's the answer. Why do we invest in this? Because we decide it's worth it to the city. And that good argument can be made. An NFL team brings a lot of publicity to a town. It makes it a major market city in a lot of ways. But that would be it. But why not? These people are billionaires. Hey, you heard him say $336 million coming in just from TV revenue alone this next year per team. Because that's a billion-dollar deal.
I don't know how they spend all their money. Okay. I don't know how much money they make off the team. The Titans are now a part of Nashville, and the question is, you know, what do we do with this whole situation? And you know, if it was city money, you would be hearing this. We need affordable housing. We have so many needs that we need things for schools. You've got a private owner of a team that wants to build a new stadium. Again, you know, I look at Atlanta, and it's like they had Turner Field, and after 20 years they tore it down.
I thought it was still nice when they tore that one down.
Maybe it's still there. I don't know. I didn't look at it. I didn't look for it. I just know the Braves don't play there anymore. They play in Marietta. At a very nice new stadium. So the question is, how does all this money get spent? Now, $500 million, Raymond was right, that was through the state. And if this whole thing works, then the state stepped up.
You know, to me, and you mentioned this about how there was this original deal with the first stadium, the one stumbling block for what he's arguing, and I think he makes good sense in his point about, well, why not get the billionaire owners, is that it'd be one thing if all of a sudden now we were starting from scratch and there was just, we need a stadium, let's get it going. What I see about this is, well, okay, yeah, but why we can't do that is because we are still obligated under this existing contract, which to me, as I've looked at it, is not a great deal. And this tears it up, starts it over, and we're getting a better deal from the Titans than I think we did in the past. So that's the difference there. I think we gave the Titans a lot of good stuff when we first brought them here because we were like, what, you really want to come to Nashville? What do you want? Now I think we're in a little bit more of a position of clout and to negotiate, and I think Amy Adams-Strunk loves the city and would like the team to stay here. And so we're getting a better deal now, so we can't just say, well, Amy, pay for it. And she'll go, well, no, I'm not going to pay for it. We'll just stay under the existing contract for the next 17 years where you have all this debt. That kind of takes that off the table.
Yeah, you got to balance out what's going on right now as to what this thing is. So I think you're right. What we're trying to do is figure out what does this mean as compared to if we stay with this thing. I mentioned to you before, I know the mayor when he was serving on the city council with me. I used to listen to him debate on projects, not anything nearly as big as this, but they were projects to, whatever, corporate relocation.
Okay.
Corporations coming in, what are we giving them to, or corporations that are here that are going like, we're going to leave unless we, so same type of thing. But the mayor used to say, I mean, he voted no on a number of different projects because he is a drill down guy, and he is, he used to vote no on all these things because he said the projects could be better, the deals could be better. He's proposing this one, along with the Titans, to the council. That's not to say, first of all, that he was right or wrong on all those things. I just remember him always saying, no, these deals can be better. Now he's got one that he's handing off.
And he believes, and I believe that he's probably coming at it from the same attitude as before. That's an excellent point, and he thinks this is a better deal. And I just think, okay, what you can argue, and we'll take some calls on this when we come back, that, look, we shouldn't be spending money on a stadium, like you said, when we have schools and affordable housing issues. But the bottom line is we have an existing contract with the Titans that runs for another several years that sucks. Okay, and here's a chance now to tear that up, get this new one, a better stadium. We keep the Titans here, and it takes a lot of the liability off the Titans. And I just think off the city.
Off the city, yeah.
And I think the mayor likes that. And so we'll see if the council comes around. There may be little points there, but I'm coming around to see that this may be a good deal for the city. We'll take a break. When we come back, more with the vice mayor and more of your phone calls. If you agree, disagree, I'd love to hear from you. 737-7587 right after this.